Senate GOP leaders canceling plans to vote on the immigration enforcement bill, which was expected to pass today before the Memorial Day weekend. Concerns also mounting over the newly added $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund done by the DOJ. Now, this move guarantees Congress will miss the June 1st deadline for the bill to reach the president's desk. Senate Majority Leader John Thune saying that we will pick up where we left off after dropping the plans for today's vote. Lawmakers already removing the $1 billion for the White House ballroom funding, which struck up disagreement in the upper chamber earlier in the week. I want to bring in Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles. Congressman, you serve on several very important committees, so your expertise is very valuable this morning, sir. I want to start with this weaponization fund, anti-weaponization fund. And look, there's a lot of critics out there. The Wall Street Journal editorial board is one of them, saying that this is just bad policy. And even though the president was wronged by the IRS and the leak of his tax documents, the solution to that and the lawsuit resolution takes the country in the wrong direction after January 6th. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I mean, I think you look at the precedent that was set under the Obama administration, where Obama set up a weaponization fund, roughly $760 million for those who had been wronged by the DOJ. So there is a precedent, and I would love to see what the editorial board said about that when Obama did it. But because it's Trump, they have a problem. So there's a double standard in almost everything with the media, the fake news, not you, of course, but with some of these commentaries. Because, look, Obama had a weaponization fund. Again, because of the DOJ. So this isn't the first time President Trump is trying to help those that were wronged, and I think it's a good move.
Do you think that we can move forward here? Because we had Senator Lankford on. Maria sat down with Senator Lankford, and of course the topic was reconciliation. Listen to what he told her about the process and really where we are right now.
You've got Mike Johnson in the House pushing to finish a third package before the House's recess in August, which would mean you got to get that done by July 23rd. So do you agree that that's unlikely?
That is hard to do, quite frankly. That may be possible in the House to be able to get that done, but it takes a month for us to be able to do it in the Senate, to go through all the legislative hurdles that you have to go through to be able to do it. We still have 12 appropriation bills. We have a farm bill. We have a highway bill. We're still dealing with the housing bill to try to get that finished up as well. We have the current reconciliation that we're on. We have nominations that we're working through the process on. So there's a lot on the legislative calendar. It is not impossible to do a reconciliation 3.0 in November and December. That is more likely.
What are your committee? You're on House Financial Services, Congressman. Your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's accurate. I've been saying for weeks now there was no way that we were going to have a third reconciliation package before the August recess. And that part of that is just at the pace that the Senate moves and their unwillingness to take up some of these bills. You know, in the House, we've passed some really good legislation. We passed the SAVE Act. We passed the Save America Act. So you have two versions of a bill to secure our elections. It's an 85% issue. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, black, white, brown, everybody supports it. And the Senate still hasn't moved on it. So again, their willingness to actually work versus the House is a little different. Of course, you know, we're a little more nimble. I mean, John Quincy Adams loved the House because it's where you argued and debated. It's where you did the people's work, but we move more quickly than the Senate does.
Interesting. I've got my colleague Todd Pyro from Fox News on set. He's got a question for you.
Yeah, I would like to talk with you about this fraud investigation that we're seeing right now in Minnesota. DOJ charging 15 people in connection with a $90 million fraud there for Medicaid. But that's one state. Is this really the tip of the iceberg, Congressman, as to what you are expecting to see, not just in Minnesota, but in the other 49 states, both red and blue alike?
Absolutely, and you hit the nail on the head. It's red states, it's blue states, it's you know, purple states. Is that we have this rampant fraud, and so it's important. And you know, the Trump administration, the House and the Senate, quite frankly, are determined to get down to ending this waste, this fraud, this abuse, because that's money that's coming out of the taxpayer pocket, right? You know, we have veterans that aren't getting the services they need. You know, suicide rates amongst our veterans is still 22 a day. We have kids without school school books, and that's money literally that should be going to them, and instead it's being abused by those, quite frankly, most of whom shouldn't be in this country anyway because they came here illegally.
Yeah, let's talk about what's happening overseas, and we'll have you put on your Homeland Security hat now, sir. President Trump says negotiations with Iran are in the final stages, but no deal has been finalized yet. The president says he is keeping his military options open moving forward. Secretary of State Rubio giving this update this morning. He's in Sweden. Listen to this.
On the issue of Iran, the news this morning, I know it's early on it's still in the United States, a little later in the region, in the Middle East, but we await word on those conversations that are ongoing. There's been some slight progress. I don't want to exaggerate it, but there's been a little bit of movement, and that's good. The fundamentals remain the same. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And then added to this, of course, is the issue of the Straits. Iran is trying to create a tolling system. They're trying to convince Oman, by the way, to join them in this tolling system in an international waterway. There is not a country in the world that should accept that.
Hey, Congressman, I want to add this. Hugh Hewitt writes this on FoxNews.com. The U.S. needs to create a demilitarized zone along the Strait of Hormuz. He also says the U.S. and allies can and should recommence combat operations against the IRGC.
Well, you know, look, Iran is a leading exporter of terror around the world. So it's in Europe and Israel and the Middle East and, of course, here at home. And so that's why you've seen cooperation in Greater Arabia when it comes to Iran, is because they're sick and tired of Iran as well. And so this idea that they're going to try to create a toll in the Strait is absolute nonsense. And quite frankly, when you look at the global oil supply, it's a commodity. It's traded globally. But a lot of that oil moving through the Strait impacts China and Russia more than it would us. And so there's a lot at stake here, and I think you're going to see unity going forward as to keeping the global oil supply moving. We don't want to have a recession. Europe doesn't have a recession, and oil and gas prices are a part of that equation.
I think that's why the Secretary of State's trip to Europe and talking with our NATO allies is important this morning. Real quick before you go, President Trump's political power has been on full display this week. Trump-backed primary candidates dominated at the voting booth. Texas, Kentucky, Alabama, other states, congressmen, lawmakers on this program have told Maria they're feeling much more positive about the Republicans' chances to hold the House in November. I want to get your outlook on the midterms.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When you look at the Northeast, so the Democrats have been gerrymandering and, using that process to their advantage for decades. And so because of the Supreme Court ruling that you can't have race-based districts, Tennessee, for example, responded to that ruling and redrew our maps. So we went from 8-1 to 9-0. So now you have a situation where if we pick up as Republicans roughly 8 seats, we only have to win 3, 4, maybe 5 in the midterms, whereas before we had to win a dozen. And so that's just a simple factor of probabilities. Good message, good candidates, but ultimately I think this is going to come down to the pocketbook, oil and gas prices, and the economy.
Congressman Andy Ogles, it's always great to have you on the program. We hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend, sir. Thank you for being here.
You as well.